All right, just some reminders about polynomials. You can ignore that date there. Polynomial is a monomial or a sum of. Terms are each individual monomial. A binomial means two terms or two monomials. And then, of course, tri means three. All right, we're going to add and subtract some polynomials. So example 1, we have a trinomial plus another trinomial. Okay, this sign right here tells you what you're going to do. We're going to combine like terms. So like terms are variables are the same, and the exponent is the same. So if we look at 2x squared, do we see any x squares in the other one? Right there. So what's 2x squared minus 4x squared? A negative 2x squared. All right, then we have 4x plus a negative 3x. How many x's? 1x. And then our constant term, negative 3 plus a 5 plus 2. So there's our answer. Let's look down here at the subtraction one. It gets a little bit more difficult, and I'm going to try to make sure that I do not lead you astray here. This one is a subtraction, and you'll notice I put a little 1 out front, okay? Because this means 5x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4 minus a 1 times 2x cubed plus 3x squared. So here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. If it's a subtraction, you're going to distribute through here. And that's going to help you with your signs. If you don't do it, you're going to make a mistake. I'm going to say 90% of the time. Because now when I distribute it, the whole thing becomes negative, okay? The whole thing changes sign. And now I'm going to combine like terms just like I did previously. So I have 5x cubed and a negative 2x cubed. So that gives me 3x cubed. Negative 3x squared and a negative 3x squared is how much? Negative 6. You don't think it was 0. All right, and then we have a 4, and there's no constant over here, so we're just going to bring that down. There's our answer. All right, we're going to multiply using the distributive property. So we have a monomial out here multiplied by a trinomial. So we're going to distribute. 4x times 2x cubed, this is where those exponent rules come into play here. So 8x to the 4th. Now if you need to come over here on the side, x times x cubed, so 3x's, what does that give you? X to the 4th, okay? If only my pen would work. So x to the 4th. 4x times x squared is 4x. Think about it, x times x squared, x cubed, 4x times a negative 3, 12x, okay? Multiplying binomials together, all right? You can use the FOIL method, or you can do the box method. I'm going to do it both ways. So FOIL means first, outer, inner, last. You can actually multiply these in any order. You could do LIOF if you wanted to, and do LOIF, I guess. But anyways, FOIL, first times first, outside, inside, last times last. And then, of course, you want to combine like terms, and that's a CLT, not a BLT. So we have x squared minus 5x minus 24. There's the FOIL method. You could also use what I call the box method, kind of like from science when you do genetics and you're looking at dominant and recessive genes. What you do is you essentially do a length times width box. So I would have x plus 3 times x minus 8. And so this first box in the upper corner here would be x times x, length times width, so that was going to be x squared. Then x times 3 would give me 3x. And then we would come down here, negative 8x for this box. Negative 8x times x would be a negative 8x. And then that last little box, negative 8 times 3 for length times width. And what you'll notice is if you do the box method, not every time, but most of the time, these two diagonal squares are going to be like terms. And again, we would have x squared minus 5x minus 24. All right, sometimes you want to do a binomial by a polynomial. Here I've got a binomial and a trinomial. You can either extend that FOIL method where every single term over here gets multiplied by every single term here. This is when I think the box method is the most useful because that would be a lot of arrows. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the box method here to keep everything nice and neat. So now it would look like this. All I'm doing is separating out those terms. So I've got 3 on the top, so I have 3 columns. And then I have 2 terms on the side there. And then again, we would do length times width. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 3x. X times 5. And then we'll come down here and do the bottom. So then we have 2 times x squared. 2 times negative 3x, so that's a negative 6 x's, and then 2 times 5. And then again, I would look for any like terms that would exist. So look at this one. So I'd have x cubed minus x squared. And then if we look at this diagonal, these two are the same. Negative x plus 10. So this right here would be my answer.